everybody to Coming Into Being, another episode. I'm trying to send a message out here and it's not going out. There we go. Finally. Okay. Now we're good to go. So thanks for stopping by, and we're going to have another episode of Coming Into Being. So this is your space to just come and chill and relax and get a little bit, that being time that we can always use more of, always. Even if we do it a lot, usually there's just a lot going on in our lives, all around us. And there's also a lot going on in the ethers. And so there's a lot of movement around, and everybody's pretty much sensitive to that, whether they are conscious or not. And sensitive meaning that everybody's impacted by what happens anywhere in the system, and the system being existence. Nothing is outside of the system. We have a closed system, I like to say. And hopefully my mouth will not get too pasty. I forgot to get some water before I started, but that's okay. So excuse the crackly voice. So anyways, yes, I like to say we live in a closed system. There's nothing outside of existence. So everything that happens anywhere within the system impacts us. It's a question of how sensitive we are to it. So, hey, Marlou, good to see you. And so providing this space to just have that being time, that time to just come and really connect in, because that's where everything starts. That's where all the juice is. And that's where that's the only way we can really find ourselves, find our, whatever it is that we are looking for, is by going within. So let's get it started here. And first, just kind of take a big breath and just let it out with a sigh. And with a sound. That's always good to do that, to just kind of, let it all out. Let out everything that came up before this present moment. And it's always this present moment. So every breath that you take, as you breathe out, just releasing out everything that came before, right now, right here, this present moment. And letting yourself just kind of do that 2 or 3 times, take, let some sound out. It's good to do that instead of being quiet, and it can be just it doesn't have to be a real loud sound, but make a little noise, make a little, let the vocal cords vibrate a little as you breathe out there. Just relax. Hey, Belinda, good to see you. And slowing yourself down. Take a nice deep breath in, hold it at the top. And then again, exhale. Let that breath out. Just let it out with, again, just work with that sound. Let it out with a sound. And even go. Take a deep breath in, pull up your shoulders up high, and then let them down as you exhale. Just drop them down real fast. It's good to just move around, move things around as you breathe. You just loosen that up. Probably been sitting there holding it for a while. Whether you're like this on the computer or whatever it is that we're doing, life tends to pull us up in this direction. So this coming into being is really going to be dropping in and dropping down. And continue with that breath and just taking some deep breaths, as deep as you can, and blowing it out. Again, but just let that sound come out. Let that release. And then as you're ready, you can keep doing this if you like, or just follow along with me at the same time. Kind of slowing that down. And if you find yourself wanting to yawn, and yawning, there's a movement of energy that's happening and shifting and opening up. Maybe because you were really kind of contracted in, energetically, physically, uh, and so the yawn is just this movement, this opening that's happening. And sometimes when we breathe in, you might feel a tightness in the chest, like you're only breathing in so far, and then you can feel like it stops, and you could really go in. Hey, Kayla, you could really actually take in more breath. So hold that breath as far as you can take it, and then exhale all the way out. Really just squeeze in, collapse in the chest, squeeze that chest, squeeze those muscles until just squeeze all the air out of your lungs. Until it just will automatically come back in, and if it doesn't, there's an issue there, because the breath will automatically kick in. So if it doesn't, you have to think, I got to breathe now. There's a lot of control that's being exerted on that in-breath, because it normally, under normal circumstances, happens automatically. Just squeeze that breath there. The system just opens right back up. Those lungs expand out, just pull out. And as they pull out, all that air comes into the lungs. And if it's tight here, like at the top of the chest, sometimes when you're breathing, if you notice that for yourself, and maybe not now, but if you've noticed that for yourself before, that means your breath is really coming only into here. So that's a very shallow breath. And that's basically stress, anxiety, fear, abuse, being controlled by external forces, and, survival patterns, fight or flight kind of patterns. When you go, that's a very shallow breath. So there's this contraction that happens. So try putting your hands, can't see me, let me sit up a little bit so I can show you. You can put your hands like here. My screen isn't big enough. But basically putting your hands right on the bottom ribs, and focus on pushing your hands out as you breathe. So it's like with your breath, you're just aiming to like push the hands out. The hands stay on your ribs, of course, but when you focus that way, that helps to get your breath down lower. Okay. Now we had a little breathing parameters here. Come in and feel your body. So notice your body. Let's start at the top of the head for a minute. And see if you can just get a sense of the shape of your head, the volume of your head, how much space it takes up. And you can close your eyes if you want with this, or you can keep them open. Ultimately, you should be able to do it. Eyes closed, eyes open. We've talked about this before, fairly recently, yeah. Some people having a harder time with eyes open, some people having a harder time with eyes closed. There's different reasons for that. We won't go into that now. Just kind of feel your head. Feel that shape, that size, front, sides, top, back. and this is part of the bottom of your chin. That's part of your head too. Behind your ears, your earlobes. Back of the neck, that occipital ridge. The back, top of the head, back of the head. And I have a tendency, since we're looking forward, very oriented towards where our eyes are looking. So shift that energy and a forward focus to shifting back and becoming aware of the back of your head. So that's going to pull you back, get you more centered in your body. And you might feel yourself kind of going like this, like literally, like moving back over the top of your head and down, or just simply moving front towards the back. Notice those little nuances, because that indicates what your pattern is of where you tend to be. And then kind of come into, so head and neck. Again, kind of the front, sides, the back. Just feeling into the neck. You can't look at it, so you have to touch it if you need to. Get that tactile sensations coming in to make you more aware of it. See if there's areas, like really notice that spine. And feel that. Feel how the neck, the sides of the neck go around. And, it depends on your musculature and how that comes in. But it's sort of like, for me, it's almost like there's just a little bit of indentation, and then there's the bump where the spine, the spinal column is, and the vertebrae. So feel into that and touch it with your fingers. And then put your hands down and really bring your awareness into that area and see if you can get a sense of those vertebrae bones that are, there's a little bump for each vertebrae because of the shape of each vertebrae. And there's 7 vertebrae in the neck. Yeah, notice how that just slows everything down. Allows your system to relax out and open up more. Coming to the top of your shoulders. There's, you can do a little bit of the front here. There's the clavicles. Some of us have more bony shoulders than others. So, just notice how your bone structures are on your body. Does it feel like you have something on your shoulders? Some of us carry a lot of things on our shoulders. And it could be, your shoulders might be even more pulled up. So, move them around a little bit. And then let them go and see what that feels like. See how that's shifted. And you feel like there's one that's pulling further up or the other, or are they like this or like that, or are they pretty even? How do they feel? Or maybe a little bit more pulled in to the side. Really developing that awareness of your body. It's your body and it's your energetic system, and that gives you a lot of indications for what's going on in your body when you really develop that skill. So you can get really good at that and actually feel into your organs and internally feel into things. And some people can get real precise with that, whether it's for themselves or for other people. It's a question of really directing your awareness to a point. But for now, just focusing just that general area of your upper shoulders, top of your shoulders. And the arms. Let's go to the arms next. See if you can feel your whole arms, all the way from your shoulders to the tips of your fingers. Let yourself sink into that. Have that soft focus. You can't really do that when you're staring. That's why I keep looking up. I'm not really looking at the camera because I'm putting more awareness on that. So it's softening that gaze instead of having a focus point like when I look at the camera. See if you can get a sense of the weight of your arms. And there's some weight there. Can you have a sense of the muscles separate from the bones? There's a lot of other things in there, but let's just stick to the muscles and bones. See if you can get a sense of each. And the density of the bones. Letting yourself just kind of feel into that. And you may not have a sense exactly, specifically, but just kind of a feeling without really being able to identify that, because you're just kind of, there's like not a before and after kind of thing. But you can also just have a sense, do you feel that density in your bones? You should have a certain amount of density in your bones. Or do they feel airy? That could be an issue of, that is heading in the direction of osteoporosis because of the bones not having the proper density that they need. Or brittle might be another term. Do they feel strong? Do they feel strong and this sounds weird for bones, but flexible? So not flexible where they're going shoo, bending completely, but flexible where there is enough strength and pliability in that strength so they can withstand a certain amount of shock without breaking. It's almost like there's density and like moisture in a way, moisture in the bones. I don't know how else to describe that. And feeling all the way to the marrow. You can pick any bones. The upper bones, the upper arms, those are the bigger than the ones below, so that might be easier. All the way to the core of the bone. Used to do that in healing school when I went to healing school, or even working on people, being able to really feel in with the hand all the way into the bone. And the person working on the person and They could have that sense of that too, of my hand being into the marrow. And extend it all the way to your lower arms and your fingertips, your hands all the way to your fingertips. And you might feel the muscles holding the bones and kind of around the bones. See if you can get a sense of that. This is actually really good for your tissues, to bring your awareness into your tissues this way. Because where your attention is where the energy goes, where it flows, where it builds up, where it nourishing the tissue with on different levels. There's nourishing the tissues with your awareness, because if your awareness is not in an area, then something else is. Something else has got to fill in that space. And maybe your awareness is not, let's say, in your hand, because there's somebody else is in there. Like one time I was working on somebody who was a tax preparer, and he was not in his hands. I was working on him, and it's like he was not at all. He was like pulled away from his hands and just like going, trying to pull away from his hand. It says, you're working on stuff that you really don't like to do. I was like, yep. He didn't like the client. Yeah, it's like, you got to work with that one, because it's pulling everything back. So it starts to create a void energetically. Energetically, frequency. I use both those terms fairly interchangeable, though there is a difference. There's a nuanced difference, but if you pull away, so with the hands, let's say, since I'm talking about the hands, you pull away from that. If you keep in that condition, you can get things like carpal tunnel syndrome, because there isn't that flow that's going through. Your system needs that flow. Arthritis, you're getting those crippled hands that are stiff, and tendinitis, because it's not flowing through your system. Your system, your energetic system is meant to flow, like your blood is meant to flow through your veins. Same thing. So that's one of the benefits of coming into being. It's like people kind of think, well, okay, we're going to meditate, we're going to get quiet. So this is the coming into being. This is a different way of coming into being, of really coming into yourself. So feel those hands. Let's really bring in those hands. Feel those fingertips tingling. That's probably, they actually do that all the time. You're just, when you bring your awareness there, it all of a sudden just lights it up in your consciousness. It's like, oh yeah, fingertips. As opposed to being like on the computer, on this thought over here, right? Right? Being in your fingertips, being in your hands, your arms. Let's do the whole torso now. There's the chest, so we were there a little bit more at the beginning with the breath. And feeling, so that's kind of the top half, the bottom half, with a lot of organs all around. And again, get a sense of that barrel that your torso is, that cylinder that's filled up with the lungs, the heart, the digestive organs, the reproductive organs, fascia, with bones, with muscles, with nervous system. All these things are in that cylinder of your torso. See if you can get a sense of that, just feeling into that. You might have a sense of movement. There's a lot of things that are moving through there, like the blood flow, the air, the impulses of the nerves going through. Even the muscles, it's like you're not perfectly still. With every breath, opens up that chest, but it pulls on the rest of the system as well. When the chest expands, those lungs fill up, the diaphragm pushes down, so that moves down into the lower half, so that impacts everything down below it. And notice what you're sitting on, your seat, your that pelvic floor, that little pelvic basin, those bone structures, this really nice little kind of bowl. It might be more of a bowl shape for women, just because the shape. There's that bone structure that we sit on. So feeling that pelvic floor area. And the sexual organs and end of the digestive organs and the bladder. It's a lot of stuff in there too, and that not so big area. And moving that awareness down from the head. And into the legs. We have a lot of cylinders in the bodies, don't we? We have legs, could draw them as little cylinders, little combination of cylinders here. With a big ball on top. There's some imagery to work with there. So the legs. Are your legs bent? Are they straight up if you're standing? Are they straight out in front of you at a right angle from your torso? See if you can feel them all at once. Torso, your legs. Upper legs, knees, lower legs, ankles, feet, and toes. Just kind of breathe into that. Let your awareness sink into those legs. feeling those toes all the way down to those toes. Wiggle your toes a little bit if you need to. Kind of liven that up in the awareness. Orient that awareness a little bit more towards those toes. Do your toes feel happy? They feel tight, angry. It sounds a little funny to talk about angry toes, but maybe not. What does it feel like to be, let's do the feet and the toes. If you can do your whole legs, then that's good too. But you want to just focus on your feet and your toes. What does it feel like to be your feet? Not just in your feet, but to be your feet. Are they pulsing? Are they buzzing? Do they feel pretty quiet? They feel heavy or light? Okay, then come into your whole body. Somebody's looking a little bit like a zombie. I had to ask if it was a dead person, but it's not. So somebody's kind of a little either zoned out or a little too rigid in how they're just coming into awareness of their body. It shouldn't be a mental game. In fact, it cannot be a mental game. If you're doing a mental game, then you're doing it from outside of yourself, actually. So that's a good to point that out to all of us. Let's take a deep breath in. Hold at the top and settle back in to your body, to your breathing regularly. I'm just going to clear that up for you guys a little bit. It's like there's a little bit of buzzy energy around one person. It's not buzzy, but there's energy that's not present time moment for you, for somebody in the call here. No, well, or more than one person, but so come into yourself more. It's like what's happening is that it's like you're pulling in another reality around you, or you might not even be aware of that. But it's creating. God, how can I describe this? It's kind of like being in a swamp, or when the air is when the air is really heavy, and so it's kind of the combination of air being heavy, and when you see actually the heat rising up from hot pavement, in the sun, you kind of see that kind of So that's what it does around you, and so that it can make your headspace become become unfocused. Is it me? Yeah, you're one of them. So that is a bit distorting. So just coming into yourself more. Really pull into that. Pull into. Really start focusing on your skin to separate out even more. And it feels like there's a part of you that doesn't want to separate out from that space. There's an attachment there for you. Yeah, this is different than just being in 111 degrees. um, but it might be contributing to to that. I don't know. It depends, you know. But that you've got this. It's like you've got this other reality. You've got you're enmeshed with another reality, and there's a sense that you don't want to let go of that. You have an attachment to that. There's an identity around being attached to that, and it's I see that with people who have certain things that they do. So I'm not saying this is you, but just it's the same kind of pattern. They have like somebody who talks to ETs, or somebody who um, uh, does channeling. You know, so their identity becomes, well, I'm a channeler, and so they will keep that energy around them. Um, Instead of saying, well, okay, there's this reality, I'm here, you know, being able to separate out. So just really, even if it's 111 degrees, it's really just connecting with your body. And the heat, yeah, the heat might be contributing to that, because when it, you know, it's like one of those circumstances where we kind of tend to get lazy because we're hot, and it feels like we just get hotter when we bring more attention into our bodies, which can happen when there's kind of this alchemical reaction of burning off of stuff at those deeper levels when we bring our awareness into it. So there's this kind of, you know, it's like when you plop down on with the heat and you're just kind of go, your whole body, you just kind of want to let go, right? Um, but with your awareness, you want to stay focused on your skin, your body is separate out. Yeah, you still have that. You're just there's this is kind of interesting because it's not really shifting about now. It's like a little separated from you, but it's like there's this other there's another reality there for, so I see you here, and I see this other reality here, kind of thing. Um, so a little bit of separation. So that's starting to separate out, but it's still kind of there. Um, okay, I'll just take a deep breath in here and just keep coming into your skin. Yeah, Kayla, see if you can just kind of relax a little bit more. I don't know who else is on the call. Oh, Marlo also. that I know about being on here. So, Kayla, just let's take a deep breath in and focus a little bit more on your body again, and just like feel yourself as if you're in a spa. So get out to just help you get out of the stress. You've got a lot of stress in your mind. It's like you're just trying to figure out too many things. So just give yourself, just for now, just for right now, to allow yourself to yeah. Sometimes, it just helps that this isn't forever. This is just for right now. Let's just relax and take a pause. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you got so that just released a lot. Just doing that, that's released a lot of people out of you, or enough people out of your immediately smacked into you. So that's taking the pressure off. And let's see, one more Marlu of those that I know were on. So let's see, Marlu. So everybody just kind of take a deep breath in. Hold your breath at the top. Let it all out. And then just come a little bit more, relax a little bit more into your body. Feel yourself into your body. Yeah, Marlu too. Let's work on this one. There you go. It's like, it's almost like it's not like you get pulled up into the top of your head, but that area gets a little stuck. And the feeling is like you're trying to do two things at once: come down and pull out. So it's like, so it's interesting. It's creating this kind of layer on top of your head here. And it's yeah, it's kind of creating this layer that needs to clear out. So just take a couple, 3 deep breaths and just blow it out. Relax into that. So that helps to just step out of that. Literally, it's like going like this, doing two opposite things. So that kind of locks you in, locks you up, doesn't it? Coming into your center. So everybody come into your center. Just feel your core, your spine, your core. Oh. We'll drop into that. And let's just wrap this up and just allowing ourselves to really come into this core, come into our body. So see if you can have a sense of your core. And your body around that core, getting a sense of that. You can kind of imagine this little outline glass, figurine that's around, centered on that core. Wow. And always when we do that, we just release like the dust that we have picked up, so to speak, Sometimes it's just going to come up, but we don't have to get caught up in it or hold on to it. So that center, that body, that center core, that body centered on that core. Letting yourself just for this moment, just for right now, let go of everything else. Coming into the breath. Just putting aside everything that's come up to this point. That includes everything we've been talking about here until right now, right this moment. Yeah, there we go. And doing our best to stay cool in the heat. That's pretty hot. That's the desert, I guess. Or well, it actually got pretty hot here. Not quite to 111. We got up to 100 and I think 103 here one day. So thanks for joining us in. Tomorrow we have a fun event of the new moon. We're going to do a new moon celebration and we're going to celebrate the feminine tomorrow. So that's going to be great. Tomorrow evening. And we've got Pure Life Infusions Masterclass coming up next Monday, starting a new month. And this focus on this month will be the masculine, and we're not talking about male in the human sense. We're talking about the masculine aspect of existence and really doing a deep clearing of that for August for the participants. We've been doing the feminine this month and really went in deep, clearing out even archetypes, and because there's a lot of human ideas, human mental beliefs, etc., tied into even archetypes. So, hey, welcome, Melinda. Thanks for joining in. And so that's coming up next month. Lots of good stuff. You can check that out on the web page. I don't have the new moon event on that. That came up pretty quickly, so it's not on the website. But check out Ply and check out anything else. You can get in touch with us through at customer@unboundedandfree.com. Malu, feeling much more present. Yeah, I bet you're probably just coming out of work too, probably also. So very good. Thanks for joining in. Next Wednesday, we'll do another round. So thanks for joining me and take care. And until next time, wherever that may be, on an event, in the ethers, in person, on the phone, who knows? Thanks for stopping by. Take care. Oh, Erica. How long have you been on there? You've been like listening this whole time, but I just didn't see you. I didn't know you were on. And thanks for that. Pretend you're at the spa too. Yeah, right. You're just like, okay, let's go there. Ply is amazing. Can recommend that. Oh, thanks, Marlo. Yeah, it's been so much. I've really been having so much fun It's been fantastic, and I've learned so much in terms of just the information that is coming through. This month has been really amazing. So I'm glad you're enjoying it too. All right, everybody, take care. See you on the uptick or wherever we meet up. Take care.